Caitlin, how did you feel just out there today? It looked like your best overall game in the WNBA, and how much fun is it when everyone, including you and everyone else, touching the ball and it's clicking?
Yeah, I felt good. I thought I was moving well, taking good shots, took care of the ball well. I thought, but overall, just as a team, we moved the ball really good. I mean, obviously the balanced scoring shows that, but also Liz 6 for 10, AB 9 for 13, Kelsey 7 for 13. That's really good. So taking good shots and helping our teammates get good shots, I think was the key. And only giving up one O-board in the second half was huge as well.
And then when you get flagrant foul by Angel Reese, what's going through your mind, and how do you just stay within yourself to finish the game?
What's going through my mind is I need to make these 2 free throws. That's all I'm thinking about. It's just a part of basketball. It is what it is. Trying to make a play on the ball and get the block. But yeah, I mean, it happens. And those free throws, when you have to shoot them with nobody at the line, are kind of hard. So it's a little different than having people at the line. So I was just trying to focus on making those.
Caitlin, just along those lines, offensively, you've scored more, but was there just more comfort going in today, and maybe what led to that?
Yeah, I think we were just, like I said, moving the ball well. I think once we gave it up, people were getting it back in the half court. I thought we were really good out of the ball screen action. I thought AB made some really good reads. I don't know. I just thought we were moving the ball well. 23 assists on 15 turnovers. It's pretty good. I thought we could have taken care of the ball maybe a little bit more, but 23 assists is a really great number, and I think it just shows the great shots that we got, and that led to shooting a really great percentage.
And then Aliyah, Caitlin mentioned how you guys only gave up that one offensive rebound in the second half. Just how did that change you guys getting those rebounds? How did that change what you did on both ends?
Yeah, I mean, we were just trying to make sure that we boxed out. I think the guards did a good job coming in, trying to poke some of those rebounds out from the post, just because they were getting shots and they were just right there at the baskets. I mean, we just made sure that, listen, if we don't get it, as long as they don't get it, it does not matter. And so we were able to come up with it.
Aliyah, that with Angel and Camilla playing down low like that, what kind of interaction is that when it gets physical like that, and just what does it take to consistently win, when you have matchups like that?
Yeah, I mean, Camilla and Angel, I mean, both physical post players, very aggressive, especially going to the rim. They rebound the ball really well, and so you just have to really set your mind to it that it's going to be physical. Don't expect anything less, especially just being post players. You have to be able to bang. You have to be able to go through tough stuff just around the rim just because that's our position. And so, I mean, I know it's going to be a physical game and just have to be ready for it.
So, Chloe, then we'll go Christine.
Yeah, Kelsey, you mentioned your dad on the court post-game. Just what did it mean to have a game like this, get the win, kind of in honor of him today?
I think every day is an honor of him. I think that, I'm happy that we won, so I'll take it. Just try to use the rest of my day to, think of my dad in all the right ways. Knowing that we got to win, too. So I'm excited about what I was able to accomplish today and be able to play with these ladies alongside of them and kind of get a win and play for the league. I feel excited about my Sunday.
Christine, go ahead.
Congratulations to all of you. That was incredible fun to watch. And you're all youngsters compared to some of us in this room who would never have seen women's sports have a crowd like this. And also 5 blocks away, as I'm sure you're aware, the Olympic swimming trials are going on. And last night, Katie Ledecky, making her 4th Olympic team, had over 20,000 people. Obviously, there were other swimmers, but it was her night. I'm curious if each of you could talk about the meaning of this, the fact that within 5 blocks, you've got 40,000 people, and there'll be another probably 20,000 tonight, and what that means to each of you.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I was somebody that grew up loving women's athletics, whether it was soccer, whether it was basketball, whether, whatever it was. I always had it on. I always wanted to support it. So I think it just shows when given an opportunity, women's sports are certainly an amazing thing and fun to watch, and they're only on the rise. I think people are finally starting to realize how great of a product that can be shown when they're given an opportunity to play on national television or, play in big stadiums where people can buy tickets and get in a seat. And I think once people come and watch one time, they can't get enough of it and they continue to come back. And to be a small part of that is super fun. Obviously we get to play in front of a sold out crowd of 17,000 people, and that's not ever something you take for granted. The crowd, that energy just helps us and allows us to thrive off of it. But, it's one of the coolest parts of our job for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's really special. Caitlin said it best. I mean, women's sports is on the rise, and I think it's amazing that younger girls now have so many more female athletes to look up to and say, I want to be like her. I want to be an Olympian just like her. And so just to be a part of that, it's amazing, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, I'm happy I'm a part of the solution, not the problem. So, hey, here's to women's basketball and other great sports that we have going on the women's side.
Hey, Kate. You're so funny. Caitlin, I know it was mentioned that your today was probably one of your best games so far in the WNBA. Do you think it's maybe an indication of your growing comfortability and making the jump to this level?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've had some good games, and I've had some games where there are definitely some learning opportunities. And I think that's just, one of the biggest, things to learn as I go through my rookie season is just finding some consistency. And obviously it's been hard. It's been a tough stretch at the beginning just with the amount of games we've played and the limited practice as I'm trying to get to know my teammates and know the coaching staff. But I feel like I have got more comfortable over the course of these games. Like, what was this game 15 for us tonight? So, still more than half a season left, and I already feel like we've grown, so much. So I think that's just like a positive for all of us to take away and continue to string some wins along. And, coach has been saying, like, we just need to continue to take a step forward every single day. But, we don't have any time to go backwards. And I think tonight we took a really big step forward. So I'm proud of the group.
For Kelsey, and, to add on to what Christine asked about women's sports in general, you guys have played almost every game before a sellout crowd this whole season, wherever you've gone. And how much does that affect you on the court? Do you ever look around and say, hey, this place is packed, they want to see us? Those kinds of things?
I blame Caitlin. But I think it's a really great opportunity for us to kind of present, who we are as a team. And I think that the work that the class that came in, the draft class that came in, did a really good job of putting ourselves on the pedestal to be known, to be seen. And I think that we can utilize that and tie that in with the game. And I think that for us, it's obviously a really good thing to see all these people here, but we try to keep the main thing. But I will be honest and say this, the most people I've seen consecutively. So I'm excited about where it's going. Shout out to Caitlin.
Aliyah, there were several times where Caitlin just catches you in rhythm for a bucket, and it feels like that's picking up. Do you think the chemistry is growing as you guys are learning where each other are more?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think from the first game to now, I think we've just really been able to get a great feel of playing with each other, knowing where I'm going to be, knowing where she's going to be, being able to set those drag screens so she get a shot off. I think we're really doing a good job of building that.
Yeah, Leah, Christie the other day was saying that, you're walking around a little bit looser, you're more confident. In 15 minutes since the win, what's the feeling like for you to be able to stack two really great performances and back-to-back wins?
Yeah, I think this is great for us just because, we have a balanced scoring tonight, and it's great. I just think it puts pressure on other teams' defense. They can't really focus on one particular person because everyone is getting a feel, everyone is putting the ball in the basket. And for me, I think these two performances have been pretty good. Just make sure that I'm being efficient on the court, and I think that's the best way I can help my teammates.
Go Jacob, George, and James.
Caitlin, you and Angel have obviously drawn a lot of eyes throughout the years dating back to college. What is it about, do you think, the matchup between you two that kind of draws so much attention, whether it's the sold-out crowd or the kind of record-breaking audiences that tune in?
Yeah, I think it's just the emotion and the passion that we play with. I think people love to see that, and I think that's maybe not something that was always appreciated in women's sports, and it should be. I think that's what makes it fun. We're competitors. That's the way the game should be. It's going to get a little feisty. It's going to get physical, but at the end of the day, both teams are just trying to win. But yeah, I think, what she's done with her platform has been absolutely incredible. And, she has an entire fan base that has supported her and what she did at, Maryland and then LSU. Obviously I've played her for a very long time and she's been a tremendous player. So, it's been fun getting to compete against. I think it's been really good for the game. People just love seeing great matchups. But also at the same time, people tune in for these matchups, but then they get to see how amazing these teams are. And then they find new players to support, and continue to come back for them too. So I think that's another benefit of it, honestly.
George and James here.
Kelsey, 91 points in back-to-back games now for the offense. What has led to a more efficient offensive attack?
I think defensively we've been sound enough to go back on an O-end and get what we want. Not what necessarily taking shots and in the shot clock, etc. I think that kind of stuff we kind of shy away from when we defend really, really well, and I think we can get anything we want. So I think the 90 points plus has come from pace, obviously getting up and down the floor, but defensively being sound enough to go back on an O-end.
Finish up with James on the right, then Scott on the left.
Caitlin, when you had the block of Marina come down, throw a dime to Aliyah for a layup, crowd gets into it. You had 3 late, crowd gets into it. You hype up the crowd. What are those moments like when it feels that electric?
It's so fun. Oh my gosh, when you can give something in the crowd to cheer about and for the crowd to get behind, like they're just waiting for it. Like they want to give that to you. And I thought we gave them a lot of those moments, and they were loud for us on defense. I thought, we played good defense, but you can just feed off of that. And I think the better our defense is, that leads to a better flow for us on offense. And even, when we started the third quarter off a little slow, we came back and we responded. But when you hear the crowd go crazy like that, it just makes you want to play that much harder, for sure.
Scott, last one.
Caitlin, can you take us inside you scanning the defense late, and then also to what Aliyah was answering earlier about you two really hooking up well?
Yeah, I was just trying to get the ball inside late in the game, because I thought, AB was, that's the highest percentage shot in basketball, so that's what you want to get to. And I thought AB was doing a really good job. Obviously, one of those last plays where we ran horns, and AB was, earlier in the game, was able to slip out and kind of get into her layup a little bit. And she got a good look, but then got the O board and then kicks it out to Lexi, and then they kind of just leave Liz. So that's probably the play of the game. AB misses a layup, but then is able to grab a huge offensive rebound for us and get Liz a wide open layup, and I think that put us up 5, and the game was pretty much out of reach at that point. So I'm just always trying to get the ball inside at the end of the game, honestly.
What do you think of Caitlin's performance tonight and just her ability to, again, grow as a point guard and probably have what many will believe is her best all-around game today?
Yeah, she took the shots that were hers and knocked them down. She distributed the basketball. She takes so much attention, and she's able to find those open looks for her teammates. All around. She was really close to a triple-double, wasn't she? Mm-hmm. She just had a great game all around.
Maggie, go ahead.
Christy here. Hi. When you saw that block from Caitlin and that it set up a shot from Aliyah, and you see that chemistry and them just becoming more comfortable, what goes through your head about what you get to do with that?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm more excited about getting those stops. Like the defensive stops are huge for us. And, we teach KYP, know your personnel. And Caitlin being new to the league, we try to talk to her all the time about habits and what players like to do, and she's just she's just trying to learn it all, and she did a great job, great timing on getting that block, and then go score on the other hand.
Steven, go ahead.
Christie, she is 7 for 11 from the floor today. Obviously, she hasn't consistently shot a good percentage. What does that tell you about shot selection and just maybe decision making, things like that?
Yeah, I think we had 4 players in double digits. It was just, they're learning each other. And that's what this is what's happening right now. They're learning each other. They're learning how to play off each other. They're recognizing, reads off each other. We have 50 points in the paint as well. We're drawing the defense, and then our guards and even Katie Lou are getting great looks because of the downhill attacks.
We'll go Zion, then we'll go Christine.
Yeah, just following up on that, Christy, when you look at those 4 players all scoring and shooting over 50%, just what does it mean that everybody's kind of getting in a groove and getting in the right spots to score and efficiently?
Yeah. I've tried to say it as much as possible, but it just doesn't happen overnight, right? And so we just keep getting a little bit better. And that's been my message. It's about the Indiana fever every game. When we're in the locker room talking pregame, it's about the Indiana fever and how we just have to get better in our 40 minutes, and success will follow. And I think they're really buying into that. The thing, what I'm most proud of, though, is I really went in on them at halftime about the offensive rebounding. We gave up 1 offensive rebound the whole second half. That was huge for us. They responded. Proud of them for that.
We'll go Christine, then Michael in the third row.
Christy, I asked the players this as well. When you see this scene here, and you've been around a long time, not as long as some of us, and see that for women's sports, and 5 blocks away is the Olympic trials, and there were 20,000, more than 20,000 last night for basically Katie Ledecky. Obviously, quite a few other swimmers, but it was her night. What does that say about where women's sports are and where your team, Caitlin, everyone, their place in this new conversation?
Yeah, I mean, just hearing you say that, I mean, it's exciting for women's sports right now. I mean, you know, we're playing in front of, I don't know what the attendance was tonight. I'm not sure if it was a sellout, but it seemed like it. You know, we're hitting some shots late that I swear the place is erupting. And that is so special for our players. I'm so happy they're getting to experience that. But I just really, you know, everybody thought we needed to be experiencing success, you know, right when we started playing. And that's just not, it just takes time. And it takes building something and continuing with that process. And I'm just really proud of Kelsey Mitchell, you know, Melissa Smith, Aliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, Erica Wheeler, you know, Katie Lou, all the new players. Like they're buying in, and it's a process, and they know that. And you know, they've been really down, especially after the 11 and you know those games early that were really tough. But they're fighting through. They're learning each other. And I just keep telling them we don't talk about the wins. We just talk about success. Success follows that, and that's just what's happening for our team right now.
Go third row on the left.
Coach, what did you think of Aliyah Boston's screen setting? I know she set some hard screens. It seems to have some really good timing on her screens, and I presume that's something that you're making reference to, and turns out this team's developing.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing we've been emphasizing, especially the last week or so where we've had some practice time. We were just doing drive-bys, like we weren't hitting anybody on screens. Also, we weren't waiting on screens. So just being able to emphasize that at practice, it's just been, I mean, you've seen a difference in some of the wide open looks we're getting off of our screens.
Go Matt, then we'll stay on the far left on the second row.
Aside from the players, you know, gaining chemistry through time and you know, maybe the schedule being a little bit lighter, what's kind of the area that's had the most improvement that you think can be sustainable moving forward?
Yeah. Probably for me, it's those end-of-game situations where you have to get stops. You know, we had some really big stops tonight as well, some big stops against Atlanta. You know, that's just in the past is kind of where we struggled on the defensive end, getting those stops. And these guys are starting to figure it out and understand how big those moments are. And they're executing whatever that game plan is in that moment, whether we change it up in a timeout. But just getting those stops, like, that's what I'm really proud of. And then just, you know, taking on a challenge. You know, like, I don't remember how many offensive rebounds they had at halftime, but I know we gave up one in the second half, and that was a huge part. I think they had 14 points in second chance points at half, and we didn't give up any. That's just huge for us.
Stay on the far left over there.
For the second straight game against the Sky, Caitlin Clark got clobbered by a flagrant foul. How do you kind of draw the line as the leader of the team between wanting them to keep their composure, but also wanting, you know, the team to have her back in moments like this?
Yeah, you know, I was really proud of how they all kept their composure. And the right call was made in that moment. Flagrant one, 2 free throws in the ball. Just make the right call in those moments, and we can move forward. But when we don't make the right call in those moments, that's when there's a problem. And they made the right call tonight.
Stay in the back left to Andrew, then we'll come up to the front on the right, Jacob.
Christie, you've talked about how the players have started to learn each other over the course of this season. What have you learned about this team personally for you that you didn't know about this group maybe at the start of the year?
They're way more resilient than I thought they were. We keep using that word. And, you know, it goes back. I asked them on our first team meeting, what does good team chemistry look like? And all of them gave me a situation where they were either part of one or what they thought. And that's what we're building and striving for. But it doesn't happen overnight. And for these guys and the resiliency that they've shown in some really hard times, a really hard schedule, to keep fighting and keep showing up, could not be more proud of them.
Go Jacob and James.
We've kind of talked about this, but Caitlin and Aliyah, their kind of screen and roll game the last couple of nights has led to a lot of good looks, and it's kind of played a big role in Aliyah having a couple of big games. How much does that help you guys offensively to always kind of have an action that you can go to and get a good look from?
Yeah. I mean, you know, we were getting some of those actions earlier. We just weren't able to capitalize and finish some baskets that we're finishing now that we weren't finishing earlier. And then once you start finishing those hard baskets, those hard shots, you gain confidence. And I think that's just where we are right now. I think we've got some confidence in what we're doing. We've had time to work on it, and that's just the difference in where we were, from where we were earlier to where we are now.
Go James and Christine again.
Chrissy, there was a moment, I believe right after the first quarter ended, Caitlin tried to kick it to Erica, didn't get the shot off. And there was a moment of frustration between the players, whatever. You grabbed both of them and kind of brought them together. How important is that? In those moments, to kind of just grow together, even when it's not like successful. It's like you got to stay together. And obviously we saw that tonight, led throughout the game.
Yeah, I just ask them to communicate. I mean, they're not, we're still working on timing. We're still working on being on the same page with each other. And when you're not, just talk about it. Just in that moment, if there's frustration, just talk about it instead of not talking about it. And then it just keeps building. And that's what we're trying to get to.
Go Christine.
Christy, I'm looking at the schedule, and I'm more of a newbie back on the WNBA beat, but it looks like you guys are 5-10, and I don't know exactly how this ties are broken, but you'd either be in the playoffs or very close to the playoffs if it ended today. And again, I'm sure others would know what the tiebreaker was. But what is, the terrible start, I mean, the schedule, just awful, New York and Connecticut over and over and over again, like, Groundhog Day or something. What does this say? That here you are 15 games into your season, and it looks like you're either, again, in the playoffs or like really, tied to be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that going into this game. All I want these guys to do is keep improving, keep getting better, keep connecting, keep building that chemistry, and the success will take care of itself. And that's just where we are. We can't keep looking ahead. There's a lot of season left. There's a lot. But what we don't have is Connecticut, New York. We're not staring them in the face as many times as we did so early in the season.
Then we got the last one on Zoom, Mike Vopel. Mike, gonna go ahead.
Yeah, Christy, for Caitlin being the greatest scorer in college history, obviously she was always also a great rebounder and passer. She's already had 5 games with 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Can you just put that in perspective? I mean, she right now is positioned to be, number 1, I think. She only has 1 person to pass, which is pretty good for only 15 games so far to be in that kind of category.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal player. And the more she's in this league and the longer she's in the league and the more she's playing against these players, she's getting more and more comfortable. And she's getting more and more comfortable with her new teammates. She spent 4 years with her IAT teammates, and they did great things. They had some great team chemistry. And I think she's just she's having those moments with her new teammates. And we just have to keep growing on that and building on that.